Hi everyone, my name's Ella Gibson. I'm 14 years old and I'm a country singer-songwriter from Nashville and Springfield, Illinois. For this first song, I'm going to be doing an original that I wrote. It's called Wrong Generation, and after I lived through 2020, I realized that, living in the 2000s maybe isn't my thing. So I've always kind of loved the fashion, the music for the other eras anyway, so this is all my love kind of put into a song. This is Wrong Generation. This next song is a song I wrote about a girl who is kind of losing herself because she's so lost in a boy that she loves. And it's called Don't Be That Girl. He says he does, but that he don't. He says he will, but you know he won't. He's always late, 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 and you always wait, wait, wait. Time to put that red dress on and throw that This is a song I wrote about being young and in love. It's called Too Much of You. My daddy hates every boy I bring around. It's a miracle he even let you in the door. My mama says you'd better slow that old boy down. You're too old for me and way too immature. Well, they say we spend too much time together. I just roll my eyes and say, whatever. Too much of you leaves me breathless. Well, too much of you makes my heart go wild. Yeah, we might be a little carefree and reckless, but I'm lost in your eyes, hypnotized and high on your smile. Well, they say, take it slow, don't you know you got plenty of time for love? Well, all I know is too much of you. It's never enough. My friends told me I could do a whole lot better, but they don't know what it feels like in your arms. My grandma says true love lasts forever, and meant to be's are written in the stars. Well, they all have way too much to say about it, but when we kiss, there ain't no doubt about it. Too much of you leaves me breathless. Well, too much of you makes my heart go wild. Yeah, we might be a little carefree and reckless, but I'm lost in your eyes, hypnotized and high on your smile. They say, take it slow, don't you know you got plenty of time for love? Well, all I know is too much of you. It's never enough. Never enough. Well, they say, take it slow, don't you know you got plenty of time for love? Well, all I know is too much of you. It's never enough.
No love for the lost boy. She had the unskilled hands of a drunken craftsman, destroyer of the bastard child who encouraged her wrath, annoyed her with his laugh, demanding he take it back. How black were those unsettling jokes he told himself, like, there is hope, and soon death will release me. But the beastly kept him locked up, shackled to fake realities, chasing different cities, till she was too tired to run anymore, and he was too damaged to ever escape. When the rage became less unexpected and more certain, when the real world became less reality and more like a movie screen seen through a window, a world more fictional than any TV show because he could not touch it. The carpet stunk of urine, but he could not smell it. One adapts to the filth of their existence when it's all they know. Her eyes were rank with self-hatred and anger, but when one lives with violence, hope is more dangerous than the hands of the abuser. Shadows dwell deep within his corneas. Drops of dread drip in his head, turning any friendly touch into a potential attack. How could he not flinch at that? The brick wall cracks under the burden. The plaster crumbles after the burning. The house that held such horrors fades away, but the horrors still stay the same, buried in the cement foundation. The little boy becomes a man, but distrusts every inkling of happiness until his doubts become reality, and on the last second, of the last minute, of the last hour, Of the last day, the nurses heard the lonely man say, I knew there was no love for me. It is a metallic, mountainous, monstrous beast fed on the flesh of the subdued worker class. Weary-eyed figures form a line for work time. Strangled masses stumble in, starving for relaxation. Tension tightens their tired bodies like stripped bolts. Workmen's muscles stretched and torn to their limits, only allowed to recover on the weekends. Red eyes and amp energy drinks don't stop the draining. Machine metal bites furiously, smoking sore bodies. Steam and heat cook the workers till they are tender, and with one exhausted misstep, flesh and bone are consumed. Blood and gore paint the assembly line. The whistle blows. Production stops. The hunger is sated, and the factory slumbers. Artists' revolution of love. Soft tissues connect our bones. Our flesh feels mostly the same. Skin tints may vary, but strangers aren't scary, 'cause despite what is different, so much is the same. The paint breaks the paper. Paint brushes soften the paint, spreading colors of beauty around us and help us to feel something again. The poet puts himself in the position of everyone else. With heavy water words and emotional verses, the pen pricks the skin, showing ink blood, and he bleeds art for the world he sees. Reporter, novelist, playwright, comic strip artists don't get paid right, but they play with life to bring us to the light that we all can share. Sorrow was never my scheme. Pain was never my friend, but tragedy makes us human and losses make us all kin. Give me an artist that loves us, and I will show you the start of a true revolution of love. In deeply disturbing dreams, heavy metal thunder strikes lightning quality, violence, inciting tension, inducing exhausting levels of stress, till fatigue and anxiety snaps a fragile mind. Thud, thud, thud. God, please, no more. Thud, thud, thud. Make it stop. I just need 30 minutes of sleep. Thud. A single trigger sounds. The breath of brothers in arms stops. A softer bounce, rattle, and thwop as one tired body finally drops of its own accord. Thud, thud, thud. Other adult children move forward, while the self-inflicted sorrow stains the hollow foxhole. Thud, thud, thud. The last truck stop. The night rolled in like a tired truck driver. It was getting cold, but he didn't care. He chuckled, "Bring on the snow," as his tires started to spin again. Time to crush the clock, time for his last stop. Hit the delivery spot, then the trailer drops as he drops off at the nearest truck stop. His engine was running heater hot until midnight hits and his heater stops. Sleeping sound and dreaming of a long ago war, a little girl and two sisters more, the sound of a piano, dozing off in Sunday service, then not going to church anymore. Then his dreams turned Aleutian Island cold. Less than 24 hours later, the engine slows to a dead stop. The manager of the rest stop hits knock, knock, knock. The door is locked, so he phones the trucker's boss, opens the cab and finds his frigid form, a body that didn't weather this storm. It really was his last truck stop. It was a bright and beautiful brand new day as she crossed the courtyard with a lullaby on her lips, saw the swans take off and fly, then slowly descend, dipping their delightful necks in the once still water that was now surely stirring. A sweet tune tantalized her tongue as she hummed something that bordered on forgotten. It was powerful, but only echoed imperceptible in her unconscious mind. A fire swept through her anxious gut as she struggled to recall something she was certain was important. A dog barked, bees buzzed about their honey-making business. She was certain, even anxious, she would not forget this, but she missed the magic of her musical muse and cursed herself for not remembering the tune. Time obscured dawn's radiance. The day died a brilliant turquoise to dark blue and blackish death, and still the song would not come. It hovered within her breath. It beat beneath her soft blossoming chest. A tear fell as she struggled to unforget the song she had lost, but even in sleeping and waking, the wonderful melody would not return. He sat, sweetly serenading the elderly lady. Their hands were clasped, and she relaxed as the pain of living slowly faded. This was his gift, to take something many were happy to give. With soft words and strange energy, he channeled his humanity. A willing ear open to hear all songs and melody of heartaches and physical pains. So he sat and passed a chicken sandwich to a strange old woman. He listened and heard all that she said with and without words. And for a moment, just a brief interlude in the darkness of her daily life, there was a sense of love and kindness. Hazel eyes of cosmic wisdom and compassion. He did not see strangers in pain and walked past them. He sat with a sobbing stranger who needed someone to listen, gave him a ride, let him use his cell phone, and spent more than a minor moment willing to hear what the stranger had to say as tears moved across a tattooed face. Maybe it was a fruitless endeavor to expend energy on people society had discarded, the deeply scarred and charred bits of burnt-out hearts. Maybe one moment is not enough time to undo a lifetime of abuse. But he sat, kind-hearted, ears open, and willing to listen. Last poem. Make sure Old eyes flutter open, awakened by the sound of soft water on a car roof and a sharper thud. Spheres of light blur, breaking the night. They vary in color, shape, and size, while thin streams of liquid slide down the rear window. The upholstery is torn from time and its stitches being stretched too far. Blurred points of pressure push in on his fog-filled brain as the rain continues. He rolls down one window, allowing the pungent odor of sweat and old dirty clothes to spill out. Another thud is followed by an angry voice bellowing, "You need to move this car!" The old man moves, crawling from the back to the front, disturbing the junk he has acquired. With leaden bags and burning red eyes from his harsh life, he tries to start his car. It will not move, so the city takes the last place this old man called home.
Hi, I'm Barb Ohlinger, and I'm proud to be what I call a quilter. I've done it for 25 years, and I'd like to share with you what all you can do with quilts. It's not just put it on the bed and sleep with it. Of course, that does happen with my family because my one son told me, who's 50 this year, he says, "You know, Mom, I've never bought a blanket in my life." I said, "You haven't?" He says, "No, between you and Grandma, I've had plenty of quilts to keep me warm." So quilts do keep you warm, but they also are fun to show and to put on display or to give to people. This first quilt I want to show you is very special to me. It is the first quilt I did. And at the time, it was all done by hand, no machine work, and it was appliqued and pieced. And we had to cut out templates and use the scissors. Well, nowadays we've got rotary cutters and we got a lot of speed that we can do these things with. And then I've done, fortunately, a lot of classes. I've done mystery quilts, I've done block of the month, I've done all sorts of types of programs for our guild, which is called quilts. And the one I did was a mystery quilt. And you might think, mystery quilt, how can that be? Well, I tell them what fabrics they need and how much they need of each one. Do they need light or dark? And they should all go together. This is one of the mystery quilts that I designed and did with them. And it's fun because they really have to go out of their comfort zone to do this quilt. They have to trust me. And then the other thing you can do with quilts is give them out as gifts to people. Birthdays, anniversaries, newborn child, the baby quilts. There's just so many avenues that you can give a quilt for. And people would say to me, well, why do you give a quilt? And I said, because it's a part of me. And that's what I enjoy in giving. It's not just something I picked off the shelf at a store and said, oh, let's wrap this up. It's part of me that I give. My brother, who quit his breeding quarter horses, I made this quilt for him. And he was very touched. He couldn't say anything at first when he got it. And the back of it is also horses. So he can either use it as a throw or he can hang it up. And I think he hung it up because I stole it back from him for this. The other nice thing about fabric is that you always want to use cotton. And you never store it in plastic because cotton is a natural fiber, so you put it in pillowcases, which is very simple. Go buy some cheap pillowcases and in goes the quilt. The other thing they have done is they have reproduced old fabrics, like your grandmother or your aunt or whoever have done. This is one I did, and it is a reproduction of the 30 prints that our families had. And it's a Dresden plate. Even though it's small, I like doing miniatures because I hang them on my walls, I take them with me. They're kind of nice that way. Another one I did, a program, was I explained how to do half square triangles. And then every month, I would give them a new pattern. And how I got my patterns is I went to the old books, things in the 1800s, the early 1900s. We have a nice array of old quilt blocks that you can pick from. And it's surprising because when you see the name, there might be 6 or 8 names there. Because as you go across country, someone didn't know what the name was, so they named it. And what I did here, these blocks originally were 12 inches. But I made it as a border to show them they didn't always have to put them just one after another in a quilt. Another nice thing is you can do pictures. And it's very easy to do pictures. There's a lot of people who do them. This one was done in, well, let's see, my husband was 50, so that'd be 23 years ago. And we had the 4 grandchildren at the time, and they were characters. I mean, you name it, they did it. The first 2 were 3.5 months apart. The next 2 were not quite a year apart. And they loved getting together at our house. It was like, in fact, one of them said, don't ever sell this house, Mammal. I want to buy it. Well, it's the old house where you have a circle where you can go the figure 8 running around and up the stairs and everything else. So it was fun to do with them. This was my first applique, and I really had fun doing this one. Now, another person, or animal, I guess I should say, but she became a person to us, is Abby. She was our Samoa. We had her for 14 years, and everybody adored her. The kids used her as pillow to watch TV. She was with them all the time. She came to us pregnant, which we didn't know, and so we ended up having some pups. She was an English Springer Spaniel. That was the father. And so we were showing the video to my in-laws so they could see, the little pups when they were real little. And she went up to the TV and started moaning, and we had to shut it off. She knew those were her pups. Dogs are smarter than we think. I like doing different things. I don't want to always be stagnant. Here I piece something, I quilt it, here you go. This particular pattern is very unique because it's 3D. And it takes a little time to figure it out and to keep it where it's all straight and you get all the points. But it was fun, and that's why I made a small one so I could hang in my house. Then, at the Centennial, we had a challenge at our guild. Every 2 years, we put on a quilt show, and we always have a challenge. They give us the fabrics, they give us the theme, and they say how big it is. Well, usually it's how wide it is so they know how to hang it. And this is the one I did. And I did all this in here by embroidery. And I did some beads, and it was just fun. The other thing you can do, and I have a friend who just cringes when I say paint, but you can take fabric. This is a one piece. It was quilted, and then I use colored pencils to color it instead of fabric. And hanging up on the wall, you'd never know it. And then I added more quilting because I wanted it to pop out. And this next one I'm going to show you was paints. They have fabric paints. And I also did crystals, which you have a little tool and glue it on, which was fun. And it's just a nice thing to do so you can do something that's not always the same. This one, we had a workshop, and they gave us the pattern of the flowers. We traced it, and then we colored it with paint. And we colored the purple here. And then I took it home and embroidered and added more to it, which was fun. At the year of 2000, when everybody was going on, about computers and everything else, are they going to, come over? This is the last time for 1999. I decided to make a quilt that would honor that time. And I know it's probably not a special time for America, but to me it was. And this is the quilt I pieced and ended up making. And it was fun. And when I quilted this, I quilted it on a long arm, but I did the quilting, just moved the machine myself. It wasn't custom, it was my custom of how I did it, how I made the straight lines and everything. But I really love this quilt, and it hangs in our family room, which sometimes we call the room flag room. Then Abraham Lincoln was coming up with his 200th birthday, and I wanted to do something, but I wasn't sure what. Well, Barbara Brackman from Kansas City, a well-known quilter, she's written lots of books. I mean, she knows the history. It's just, I love getting her books. They're special. And her and some friends came to the museum here in town, in Springfield. And they get to the log cabin, and they said, oh, that quilt's wrong. It's not the right period that they had laying on the bed. She went home and designed a quilt. Plus, her and her friends made it, and they made it out of plaids, which was also, during that time, you saw a lot of plaids during the Civil War era. And they brought it back and gave it to them. And I just think it was wonderful. Now, what I did, I took the pattern, and instead of, I made it the same pattern, but I used reproduction fabrics from the Civil War era. If you go back to the Civil War, these are the fabrics you would have seen. And it's just so wonderful. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. As I told you, I belong to the guild here in Springfield, Illinois. It's called Quilts, which the letters all stand for Quilting United in Teaching and Sharing. But just, go on the website, and we have a lot going on. It is, right now, I'm kind of easing back. I've been officers and, all that stuff, and I've been director of the show. And we have a show every 2 years, not every year. And the reason for this is it takes a lot to put a show on. And you only have about 100 ladies, and some of them aren't workers, as you can imagine. So we do it every 2 years, and it's coming up this March of 2022. Unfortunately, we had to skip the last one, and it kind of hit us financially, but we made it work. So I hope you all enjoyed this show and enjoy your quilts.
All right, so these songs are, they're not on our last album. They might be on our next album. Who knows when that's going to come out, because it took me 20 years to put out the first one. But this is called It's Hard. If I moved around and learned once more how to be kind, I could use a friend, baby, get sober, I'm not lying. Could I just disappear? Would anyone really pay much mind? Promise I'll come back someday when I'm doing fine. Sometimes I lose it all, but everything always comes back again. It's not cool these days to say it's hard to be a man. I won't deny my mistakes, they happen all the time. Over and over and over and over I cross the line. And that's the way I fly with this curse in mind. I wander through my life, never satisfied. All these years laying my heart out for all to see. I'm gonna tuck it away. From now on, it's just for me. If you really love me the way you say, then set me free. There's no need to always be in misery. Butterflies fly away when the real life sets in. It's a living hell to be involved with the music man. I thought I made it clear, then found out I didn't succeed. Love made me blind and do things unnaturally. And that's the way I fly with this curse in mind. I wander through my life, never satisfied. All right, I pretty much wrote most of this song on my way home from the Buckhart Tavern one night. It's called Slow Down. up my axe, find a chord, finally relax. Slow down, let those years pass by. I won't even stop and wonder why. Hold on to everything that's true. Now and then I still think of you. I'll just play this one. I don't even have anything to say about it. How did I make it through all of those years? I was so damn bad, and I did not care. I'd yell at the sky and rip out my mind, drink it all down until I felt dead inside. I tried so hard to break everything I do, anything just to get away, even when I knew it was not right. It never really mattered. Alone at night, once in a while, I still feel that way. But I come around when I see your face. It can't get much better than this day. Even though I know you are slipping away. This old guitar makes my heart beat. It's the only thing that knows everything. I dream at night, live every day, and then let it spill out of my brain. Who really cares? Certainly not me. I'll go on my way and not mind a thing while deep inside I fucking scream. It doesn't really have to be this way. Once in
Hi, my name's Anastasia Lindsey. I am going to recite 3 poems, and as the interval, I'm going to play my crystal singing bowls. I like to think of myself as a poet and a sound healer, so I'm going to incorporate the two. The first poem I'm going to read is called Rocking Chairs. I picture us sitting in rocking chairs under the country stars, with no burden on our hearts, accompanied by the moonlit sunshine. 92 and still in love, sitting in our rocking chairs, reminiscing over our 20s, the nights we spent sitting in a parked car, the headlights shining over the driveway, replays of our golden dreams, thinking about our future selves sitting in rocking chairs, talking about our desires of forever. Our laughter is treasured tonight under this starry sky. An ounce of silver sparkle from the shooting star, a simple breath of magic from the words I love you. And the second poem is called Love in the Country. Tonight, all we have is this dim street light. I twirl you around the river rock. Cool breezes blow across the landscape. What beauty this country night holds. As the fireflies flock towards us two lovers, our own personal chandeliers. Carved names in the bent, sturdy oak. I hum a melody, your feet follow behind. And the third poem is called Breakfast in the Morning. Make me laugh while I'm cooking breakfast in the morning. Your hands wrapped around me as I'm stirring the batter in a bright yellow bowl. The sun is shining through the window, and the heat I feel on my skin. The birds are chirping outside. They are happy, I say, while smiling. I laugh because I am too. You take my hand and lead the way. But what about breakfast, I ask. You lift me gently, and on the kitchen top I'm placed. I never told you that passionate morning kisses were my favorite, but I believe you knew. The taste of coffee lingering, the strength of your arms pulls me closer. I pause and admire the view, not just the blue skies and white clouds, but how the sun shines through the window and into your eyes. Good morning, I whisper. And that's it.
Old dog lying in the gravel drive in the heat of the summer sun. And the granny, too tired to move, wonder when to run. Old man sitting in a rocking chair, tales of how things used to be. Things are quiet here in the summertime. You and I, we guided me. Eyes of the world ain't on us no more. I kinda like it that way. Oh yeah, kinda like it that way. Fat old bumblebee taking his time, flying in a hyssop bloom. Time to go now, for he knows the rain is coming soon. Things are quiet here in the summertime. You and I, we guided me. Eyes of the world ain't on us no more. I kinda like it that way. Oh yeah, kinda like it that way. Oh yeah, kinda like it that way. Oh yeah, kinda like it that way. So that was the first one we recorded.
Yeah.
That's the first song, not the first one we wrote, but the first one we recorded. I'd never done this before. You had written some stuff before, but
I'd written stuff before, but I've never recorded anything before.
messing around one day and just came up with the little progression that I said, hey, this sounds like a Neil Young song. And then I forgot about it for 2 months. She sends back some words. I was like, wow, it's like you just wrote a Neil Young song. Now I got to learn how to play a harmonica and all that crap. But
Yeah.
that's where that one came
I
from.
think we were setting out to prove that we could write a song that wasn't depressing.
Yeah.
That was
So this song came about last minute. We had written the album. We had the album's 9 songs that we wrote, 1 song that's a cover. And one of the songs just didn't fit the whole rest of the album. So we needed to come up with a new one, and came up with another little diddly part, and she came up with some great words, and we titled it the 11:30 because we actually wrote it on November 30th, about 2 weeks before we finished.
right
So, and it kind of fit.
at the 11th
so.
hour. It works on multiple levels. Tomorrow is my wedding day, she said as she poured my drink. And though I am not afraid, I wish I had another week. See, I'm not sure that I love him, though I like it when he takes my hand. But I feel it's complicated, and I'm not sure he would understand. He's good to me, helped me to be strong. He saw me through some dark days. He held me all night long. I'm grateful for his kindness, and I am humbled by his love. I know he deserves better. Maybe I should just move on. But he is good to me. Ooh, he is good to me. Offer you another, she said. She wouldn't meet my eye. It's not that I wanna hurt him, just don't wanna live another goddamn lie. He says I'll grow to love him, I just gotta give it time. And I want so to believe him. No, maybe he is right. And he is good to me. Ooh, he is good to me. So tomorrow is my wedding day, she said, and handed me another drink. I've made this bed and I will lie in it. Just sort of wish I had another week. I am fond and he's a gentle lover, but my heart beats steady when he takes my hand. And his brother is due back Sunday. There now you see, I think you understand. But he is good to me.
So this one came about, we play a song, we mostly did covers around town, and this was one by Bon Iver, did I pronounce that right?
Yeah.
That you found,
so.
and it's in open C, and one of the days this guitar was actually still kind of tuned for that, so I was messing around with it, and we came up with this one. Hope you like it.
This is called Beautiful Confession. Can we turn the conversation around to you again? You got a funny way of avoiding all my questions. And it always ends the same, because you're brilliant at this game. I'm watching and learning, and this time I'm not giving I'm not asking you to go the extra mile, just a break from all these millions of distractions. Or maybe we could just sit quiet for a while. You never wanna be the center of attention. And it would kill you if you thought you were a burden. I'm not a maiden in a tower. I'm not a delicate rare flower. You just might find I can handle what you're carrying. I'm not looking for a beautiful confession. I'm not asking you to go the extra mile, just a break from all these millions of distractions. Or maybe we could just sit quiet for a while. So yeah, that's us. I'm Osney. This is Jerry.
We're the After School Special. Check us out, afterschool217.com.